Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Karunamurthy Prabhu. Karunamurthy Prabhu ji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam. Shri Balaji Dasya. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, we'll get started, Prabhuji. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, welcome all devotees for our Nityam Bhagavata sessions. Today we will hear from His Grace Karunamurthy Prabhuji from Canto 5, Chapter 4, text number 70. Over to you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, do you want me to share the screen with the shloka?
Yes, Prabhuji, you can share.
I'll do Prabhuji. You can start with the prayers. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Ashtaprayusha Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Are you sharing produce? Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 4, entitled The Creative Impetus. This chapter is the characteristics of Rishabdev, verse 17. So this is, since it is not Padya, it is Gadya, I'll just read it. Dravya Kala Vayaha Shraddhartvik Vivido Deshopachitai Sarvair Api Kratibir Yatopadesham Satakritva Iyaja. Word meaning. Dravya, the ingredients for forming yajna. Desha, the particular place, a holy place or a temple. Kala, a suitable time, such as springtime. Vayaha, the age, especially youth. Shraddha, faith in goodness, not in passion and ignorance. Ritvik, the priest. Vivida Uddesha, worshipping different demigods for different purposes. Upachitaihi, enriched by. Sarvaihi, all kinds of. Api, certainly. Kratubihi, by sacrificial ceremonies. Yata Upadesham, according to the instruction. Satakritvaha, 100 times. Iyaja, he worshipped. Translation. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Rishabdev performed all kinds of sacrifice 100 times according to the instructions of Vedic literatures. Thus he satisfied Lord Vishnu in every respect. All the rituals were enriched by first-class ingredients. They were executed in holy places according to the proper time by priests who were all young and faithful. In this way, Lord Vishnu was worshipped, and the prasada was offered to all the demigods. Thus, the function and the festivals were all successful. Purport: it is said, Kaumaram acharet prajno dharman bhagavataniha. A ritual should be performed by young men, even boys at a tender age, in order for the ritual to be performed successfully. From the childhood, people should be trained in Vedic culture, especially in devotional service. In this way, one can perfect one's life. A Vaishnava does not disrespect the demigods, but on the other hand, he is not so foolish that he accepts each and every demigod as the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is master of all demigods. Therefore, the demigods are his servants. The Vaishnava accepts them as the servants of the Supreme Lord, and he worships them directly. In the Brahma Samhita, the important demigod, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and even the incarnations and expansions of Lord Krishna, like Mahavishnu, Garbhodak, Sai Vishnu, and all other Vishnu Tattvas, as well as Sakshi Tattvas like Durga Devi, are all worshipped by the process of worshipping Govinda with the words Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. A Vaishnava worships the demigods in relation to Govinda, not independently. Vaishnavas are not so foolish that they consider demigods independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekaleshwara Krishna Arasabha Dhritya. The Supreme Master is Krishna and all others are his servants. The phrase. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Durati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Nidamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinam Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sate Devi Pranamami Haripi Vancha Kalpa Tarubhishcha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Prabhu, am I audible? Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Loud and clear.
Hare Krishna. I seek the prayers and blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled in online on the Guru Parampara so that I can share what I have heard or learned in studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Please bless me. Hare Krishna. So this particular verse is the concluding verse of this chapter, where the characteristics of Lord Rishabdev is mentioned. I think Rishabdev is, if you see in the beginning of this canto, is coming in the line of Swayambhuva Manu, the first son who Uttanapada. So after his dynasty, with Prachetas taking renunciation, and then their son Daksha, he also went to perform tapasya, and nobody was there to rule. Then Rishabdev's dynasty, which comes from, I think in the first chapter it is mentioned, Priyavrat, the other son, Priyavrat, who was already renounced, and Brahma, Manu, they all requested him because nobody was there to rule. So at last Priyavrat agreed. So in that line, Lord Rishabdev comes. And Lord Rishabdev's incarnation, which is mentioned also as Manvantara incarnation. So he set example. So every time Lord appears in this world, so he has specific purpose. So as Lord Rishabdev, when he came, so he has the purpose of setting example. Like in every incarnation, Lord sets some rules, so that the principle, so that everybody, the citizens, will follow, jivas will follow and perfect their life. So if you see Lord Rishabdev's, so in this chapter only it is mentioned, this exemplary character from the verse 8 onwards, how he followed all this varnashrama, all the 4 ashramas. He took brahmachari life, and then he perfected even brahmachari life. He led an ideal brahmachari life, understanding his kingdom to be his field of activities. Rishabdev first accepted brahmacharya and lived in Gurukula. After completing education, he gave dakshina and then graduated from Gurukula and then entered ideal Grihastha life. So in his Grihastha life, what Rishabdev is doing, that's what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. I'll just share the screen. So these are the activities he has performed. Are you able to see the screen, Prabhuji? My screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So he has satisfied Lord Vishnu in every respect. And he has performed all the rituals which a Grihastha has to perform. And he also has done Shatakrut, like Lord Indra is also known as Shatakrut. He has done 100 sacrifices. So Prabhupada is mentioning here how he is able to, or how Lord is setting this example so that all of us can follow from the very beginning of life. Prabhupada quoted this verse from 7th canto. Kaumaram acharet prajño dharman bhagavata niha. Here, that Prabhupada is saying, from childhood, the people should be trained in Vedic culture, especially in devotional service. Why should one execute this devotional service from very childhood? So this verse, if we go, Prabhupada mentions. Yes. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Kaumaram acharet prajño dharman bhagavata niha durlabam manusam janma tadapi adruvam arthatam. So one may wonder why one should practice from childhood. Why not later? Like, okay, if I ask you a question, including myself, so how many of us feel that after coming to Krishna consciousness, we have been practicing some years, but did any time we thought that no, I should have come little bit early into Krishna consciousness. Already I'm late. Did any of you feel or felt sometimes that we could have come early? Yes. So Prabhupada himself said that no, I could have met my spiritual master much early. Already I'm married, I have children. Otherwise, I could have dedicated my life full time to my spiritual master. Or even in our context, if we see like we have so many, we could have learned scriptures very nicely from childhood if we had come in contact with Krishna consciousness. We could have learned many. So we have difficulty in memorizing so many slokas. Because we came at very late age after 20-25. So it's very difficult. Brain also is not that much capable to memorize. And many skills in Krishna consciousness. Like I see many of our devotees, they struggle to play even Kartal and Mridanga. That in skills aspect, but even otherwise, making our foundation very strong. That is very, very difficult when we come later age because we have so much of things accumulated from childhood by the time we came to Krishna consciousness. Without Bragan, sometimes it becomes very difficult. Even if we want to, like during Bhakti Shastri classes, I was asking devotees to, we have a test, sloka test. So some devotees said that, Prabhu, it doesn't go, even one sloka also they are not able to memorize. So difficult because we have come late. So that's why this Prabhupada is mentioning, or Lord Rishabdev has exhibited showed by example how it is very important from childhood one practices this devotional service. So this verse is very, Prabhupada quoted this verse many times throughout the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I mean almost all the lectures. We'll see that why there are 3 words in this. Manush Durlabham. Durlabham. What is Durlabham? Manusham Janma. Even though it is Adruvam, temporary, but Arthadam, as full of meaning. We'll see that translation. This human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. So even a slight amount of sincere devotion service can give one complete perfection. So this particular verse, same, one more, Avadhuta Brahmana also speaking this in the 11th canto, almost same. So this particular, why it is human, this human form of body is very, very rarely achieved. We heard in scriptures that after many, many lifetimes, one goes in the 84 lakhs of species, very, very fortunate soul who gets human form of body, which is very, very difficult. On this human form of body, so if one is not endeavoring or working to perfect this life, purpose of human form of life, then he will be again entering that cycle of repeated birth and death, which is again to come out very difficult. So here, this, why it is meaningful? Because what is the meaningful or artha is that we can practice devotional service in human form of life. In all other species of life, it is not possible. Otherwise, all are anartha. So artha means meaningful, anartha means is useless or unwanted. If we don't get, we don't take the opportunity which is available in human form of life, which is practicing devotional service, then our life will become anartha, meaningless. Because that opportunity to practice devotional service, which will liberate us or transcend us from this material world, is lost. And especially this particular in the verse, today's verse, Prabhupada is mentioning that from childhood, people should trained in Vedic culture, especially in devotion service. So this one aspect in ISKCON, which is not that much attention given for children education. Now devotees are realizing it, the need, because we see how so much rampant this material civilization, which is taking children, even forget about Krishna consciousness, they are not even developing social values also, because of this basic training is not there. Even dharmic training is not there. What to speak of Krishna consciousness training? So which, as a parent, we should try to, as much as possible, give the children that facility so that they don't become, they don't lament like us later, though they have taken birth in devotees family. And if we don't emphasize or give facility for them to practice this pure devotional service from the childhood, then they will also lament later, no, I have gone in this devotee family, still I could not get as much as. So that samskara, deep samskara should go in childs from the very young age. Because whatever it goes in the foundational years, the young age, that goes very deep in the, that actually forms the samskara of the children. That's how those children, even if they face difficulties, they come in uh, crisis in their life, they'll be able to come out very easily, because this Krishna consciousness has gone very deep in their childhood. So that's the aspect Prabhupada is mentioning. Also here, this is that, and why childhood? Because their ego is not that much, and they are very energetic and enthusiastic in whichever they do, and they're free from false ego as much as in the childhood. But in adults, in our case, it is we have reservations because we have experienced this world. It becomes difficult. So in that case, what we can do now is whatever is best possible, then we should try to maximize our Krishna consciousness. That is what Rishabdev is setting example by his life, that one has to plan one's life in such a way that he executes his duty responsibilities, and at the same time, when time comes, he is exiting also from the family life. You see, now this at the next chapter, he is going to instruct his children, 100 children, in Varnashram Dharma, Krishna consciousness, pure devotional service also. And then he is going to, there's an exit plan. He had an exit plan. So that means he is taking Vanaprastha. He has perfected, means he executed his brahmachari life as perfectly, and then Grihastha life. Now he is going to take Vanaprastha and Avadhuta or Sannyas ashram. So this one aspect, what we see is that in ISKCON also, we have kind of brahmachari ashram and we have sannyasa ashram. There is a nice Grihastha ashram. But this one aspect of Vanaprastha ashram, which is also very, very important in our organization as ISKCON, because they are showing the example how one should, like Rishabdev, you exit from our responsibilities as responsibilities in the sense, so much time we are spending in taking care of our earning money, but we should plan in such a way that as soon as possible we have executed our duties and then taking to Vanaprastha life. That means maximizing our Krishna consciousness, spending more of our time in practicing and spreading Krishna consciousness than investing our time in money or other aspects. Because unless we plan that, it will not get materialized. So for that, a strong Vaishnava Sangha, strong sadhana, and regularly hearing from the spiritual master is necessary. Of course, how one should plan to accept Vanaprastha life has to be discussed with one's spiritual master, so that they can guide according to the situation one is situated. But at least from our side, we should have a desire at least that we should come out of this. Because how long can we go on with this? If you see our working life, even when I was working also, it was almost 9 to 10 hours we have to be in office. Now it seems it is even more. So if we whole day, if we are giving our time only for earning, maintaining, of course it is needed to in particular time frame where we have our children, their responsibilities, but at least whatever scripture says after 50 years. So we should plan in such a way that we have more time for our perfection. And Vanaprastha life is also very, very important in ISKCON. Why I was saying is that there are many grihasthas who need practical guidance on how to execute their devotion service in their particular ashram. Such a devotees who have uh, executed their devotion service in grihastha life and then uh, taking to Vanaprastha life. Vanaprastha life means one does not have to leave the home and go to forest, as mentioned in the scriptures, but one can maximize the Krishna consciousness by engaging oneself in services in the temple, preaching, whichever uh, is feasible. And such devotees who have very good, rich experience and realizations in family life, they are the one who can guide brahmacharis also and grihasthas also. And those are the one who can become teachers in gurukulas, vanaprasthas, because they have seen how to raise children also and they have rich experience. So that's why that ashrama, which is very much missing in ISKCON, is very rare species available in ISKCON, this vanaprastha ashram. So while before entering grihastha ashram, only one should have that in mind and enter so that we can that exit plan, so that devotees can at particular appropriate time they will maximize their Krishna consciousness. So that's how it is important for our community, in any community in ISKCON, that they have a facility for children from the beginning, so that they can, after Grihastha ashram life, they can also. The ultimate purpose is that one has to renounce everything at the end, whichever ashram we are in. So we have to, even sannyas ashram, one has to leave and become, leave means, because the only goal is not to become sannyasi or vanaprastha. The goal is to renounce all these designations and become fully situated as eternal servant of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya is saying, Naham Vipro, Nachanarapati, Napi Vasho, Nasudro, Naham Varni, which is that last line? Sri Balasubramanian, you remember?
No, Prabhuji.
Sorry?
I don't know if I check.
Naham Vipro, Nachanarapati, Napi Vaishyo, Nasudro, Naham Varni, Grihapati, no Vanasto Yetirva, Kintu Prodya Nikila Preman Purna Mutabde, Gopi Bartur Padakamaliyor Dasa Dasa Anudas. So that is our goal, not even to becoming Brahmana, all the ashramas, all the varnas. So we should, our goal is that we become situated as eternal servant of gopis. That is our goal. So we should always remember that goal, so that we can step by step, how Lord Rishabdev is setting example, that one has to advance or graduate from one uh, in Varnashram Dharma, from one status of one level of practicing Dharma to next level. So ultimately we have to give up that also. And the next aspect Prabhupada speaks in this, mentions in this purport is Vaishnavas does not disrespect demigods, but on the other hand is not so foolish that he accepts each and every demigod as Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is master for the demigods, therefore the demigods are his servants. Okay, just before coming to this, one more thing I was thinking of mentioning this. The whole purpose of this training from childhood is one goal. Even for us, it is smaranam, remembering Krishna. Not just somebody is trained in Gurukulas just in the some Vedic rituals or some just dharmic, learning only the life sciences or what you call, whatever what Upanishads, all those things. But ultimate goal is that for everybody, it is that what is our ultimate or what should be at the time of we leaving our body in this world. So what should be our consciousness? Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, what is that verse? What should we remember? Can somebody say the sloka? Antakali, what is that?
Devotees can unmute if they remember.
Prabhu, what was the question, Prabhu? Antakalaj. Prabhu, you are muted.
Was it audible till then?
You can repeat the question, Prabhuji.
I was asking question, which is the sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that what should be one's consciousness at the time of living, quitting this body.
That is Antakalecha Mameva Smaran Mukta Kalevaram.
Thank you, Mother. Antakalecha Mameva. What is that word there? Very important word is
Smaran.
Smaran. So that is what is we are practicing in whole our Krishna conscious life is so that we can remember Lord Krishna at the time of quitting, leaving this body. And the whole, this Varnashrama also is, Devi Varnashrama is for that particular purpose. Even the childhood, Prabhupada said that children should be trained in Krishna consciousness. They should be enacting the pastimes of Krishna. In that way, just they remember Krishna. Because that is the goal, remembering Krishna. Because even out of this Navavida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedam. This particular, it seems that Smaranam, the goal of Shravanam and Kirtanam also is Smaranam. Because all the scriptures which is saying, at the end, what we had to do is that we had to remember this Smaranam. Because this verse, Antakalesh Mamyeva, just now we recited, it is saying that one should remember Krishna at the time of quitting this body. And there are many slokas which talks about this. There is one more verse, Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, Vishmartavya Najatachit, Sarve Vidhi Nishedasyor, Yeta Yeva Kinkara. Smartavya Smatatam Vishnu. We should always remember Krishna and we should never forget Krishna. How will we remember is, so when we here in this particular aspect is that if children are trained from childhood, they can remember Krishna. Of course, for us also, we have to cultivate that remembrance. So how we will cultivate remembrance? Contemplating. After reading, recently I was reading, hearing one lecture of Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He was saying that instead of how much quantity we are reading, even if we read little, but if we mananam, if we contemplate on that particular, even if you read one sloka, if you are meditating on that sloka, how how can put it in my life, and what are the scriptures saying about this particular verse in other pastimes? How did those devotees practiced it? In such a maranam is more valuable than reading so many in quantity, but quality is important. You were saying that is, you cultivate that, then that remembrance will automatically come. So everything, if you do consciously, quality practice of Krishna consciousness, then that remembrance will come. Then there is verses Ante Narayana Smriti, that also says that at the end we have to remember Krishna, Smaran. And there is a verse in Mukunda Mala Stotra, King Kulashekara says, Prabhupada quoted many times this. This particular verse. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Pancharangram Ajjaiva me Vishatu Manasa Raja Hamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavata Pittai Kanta Varodana Vidau Smaranam Kutaste. So yes, quoting this is again talks about Smaranam. Prabhupada's famous verse in Mukundamala Stotra, this verse. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Pancharangram Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavata Pitte. So Prabhupada says, Kulashekar is telling, at the time of living, death, what happens is, how can I remember? How will it be possible to remember you at the time of death? Because when people who are living are dying, so their throat will be choked up with all these substances. One cannot even chant. We said that at the time, at the end of, at the time of death, we chant Hare Krishna and go. But it seems that the body will not cooperate to chant that time. So difficult. We might have seen some of our close ones, dear ones, leaving, but they have difficulty even to speak. Sometimes people may even leave the body in coma or in accident. But one who cultivates the remembrance of Krishna, for them it is, even if they are not able to pronounce, but they can remember Krishna. So that's why cultivating this remembrance from childhood. Of course, for us, whatever time we have come in, we don't have to regret, but best possible, what we can do is we can, if we feel that we have come late, we can put extra effort, extra endeavor, take more time as much as possible, and then cultivate this remembrance, Smaranam, in every aspect of our Krishna consciousness life. And especially while chanting, because even in chanting, we become so, you might have heard, I think, in yesterday in the seminar, if Prabhuji has spoken about Vaishnava Ninda, about chanting a holy name also, I think he was mentioning. How we attentively chant holy name. I observed myself in many times how become so mechanical in my chanting. Like sometimes there are, we say posture, position, and the prayerful mood. Often the prayerful mood is missing. The posture and position, one may sit nicely erect, and then he may chant also with proper pronunciation, clear pronunciation. But the thing is that prayerful mood, that is missing. Because our mind is, our smaranam is somewhere else. Because throughout the day or before that day, our smaranam was, consciousness was in something else. So those things only will come. And then when we chant also, pronouncing properly, but still it is not calling Krishna. Why? Because sometimes we, suppose if you are traveling in a, say, car or bike, and we have to catch the train, and we have so less time. So that time some policeman stops traffic, and he says that no, whatever reason he says that no, he will stop us and asks us really a license or whatever. But we have all license, everything. But even that moment of if he says no, this thing is not there, so many other things are there, he is speaking. But we have very less time because train is about to departure. We have very less time. If you don't go that time, will not be able to catch it. So that time, how we beg that person, to say, sir, please, please. We may say, sir. But if that sir, how with feelingly we say, because we know that goal that I had to reach there to railway station to catch the train. And if he inattentively says, sir, like that, he is speaking here and yes, sir, something. If we not even looking at him, we are turning towards other side and saying, sir, why will he leave us? He will feel that no, you are not even respecting me. Similarly, we are chanting, but pronouncing also, but our consciousness has gone somewhere. Means I am saying to myself, because preoccupied with so many other things which you have to do, and that comes even during chanting. So in such a quality of chanting, how can we remember Krishna? So that's why not only during chanting, even the daytime also we have to see that we cultivate that remembrance. Whatever activities we do consciously, so that that will help us to remember Krishna in the day and also even while in our chanting. So then I'll come to, so that is the purpose also for the children training from the childhood, so that they remember Krishna throughout their life from childhood. So that cultivation of remembering Krishna, remembering Krishna has to be cultivated from the childhood, so that that child, when he comes, passes through different stages, brahmachari life, grihastha life, vanaprastha life. So he remembers that throughout, and then he also shares that remembrance with others. Otherwise, we come to temple, we see deities, and we should understand that a person, a devotee, in this remembrance, what is my relationship with the Lord, and what is my relationship with this world. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the 5 aspects, 5 topics mentioned in Bhagavad Gita: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. So unless we understand this Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma, this triangle, so it is difficult for us to engage things in Krishna's service for remembrance of Krishna and also for preaching. So there is a Ishvara and Jiva and material, the Prakriti. So what is the connection between Ishvara and Prakriti is, that is Kala. What is the connection? Kala. So how Ishvara is, the Supreme Lord is governing this material world is through the Kala, time, because with the time everything is finished. So that is the connection. And from Ishvara to Jiva, that is, we are eternal fragmental part and parcel of Krishna. And then our original nature is that we are servant of Krishna. So that yoga or connection, that has to be established always, that connection. And then between Jiva and this Prakriti, what is our relationship with this material world, is how the Jiva is functioning in this world through this karma activities. If the Jiva takes these activities in relationship with karma and Krishna and executes those activities, he will come out of this chakra of this material world. So these 3 things, if you don't understand how this material world also is in connection with Krishna, we will not be able to engage things of this world also in Lord's service. Like we take, in the temple, everything is made from the material energy, but it is Krishnaized, because we could make that connection with Krishna. Prabhupada says this mic sound system is matter, but it is spiritualized, Krishnaized by engaging in Lord's service. In the same way, if we don't see things our family members or whatever facility we have got in our home or the temple, in relationship with Krishna, how they are connected to Krishna, it's very difficult to engage those things in Krishna. Otherwise, we will engage in our self. And same way, the people outside, we see deities, we take darshan and Supreme Lord. But what is the people outside who are not devotees? How will we see their connection with Krishna? Unless we see their connection to Krishna, that they are also the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And only thing is that they forgot that connection, that they are servants of the Supreme Lord. And our business is that we keep on go out and reminding them that they forgot their eternal Father, that their connection with the Supreme Lord. And that is called preaching. So what is preaching is that we make, we remind people that their connection with Krishna, that which they forgot. So that is it. Otherwise, if we don't see that connection with this Jiva, the living entity's connection with Krishna, we will not be able to preach, because people are very much materialistic outside, and we see only find fault, and then we'll not, like recently Chaitanya Charan also was mentioning, if you don't see them in connection with Krishna, you'll leave them. We will feel that we'll only find fault, so they are materialistic. Yes, that's what is the problem, that they forgot. That's why they are materialistic. If we remind them, they will become like how we were there in the, if I say myself also, I was in my own world, but because devotees came in my life, so somehow struggling to practice. So it's fortunate. So because like unless devotees see this connection, it is very difficult. And we should always see that connection. After one becomes a devotee, so sometimes we forget that this connection, that devotee's connection with Lord. We start finding fault with even devotees also. So that should not be there. So that is, and go back to the purpose. So next aspect Prabhupada speaks about is demigod. So devotees, of course, we might have heard this many times, how all the demigods, they are all servants of the Lord. They are engaged in the affairs, managing the material affairs, the universe, managing the affairs of this material universe with the different departments. Prabhupada gives example of Indra as rain department, sun as fire department, Agni, all those. So I'll not go much into that, but one aspect is that we have to understand that the devotees, they don't disrespect demigods. What to speak of demigods? Not even any jiva, because we see that connection. But they are eternally related to Krishna. So that's why they don't disrespect any living entity, even who is that? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, or Jagannath Das Babaji. They used to even pay obeisances to even the lower species living entities in the Dham, because they could see that connection with the Supreme Lord. Somehow they are struggling, suffering because of their deeds past, but they have connection with Krishna always. Because that's why Krishna as Paramatma is always there. Even if one becomes a worm, Krishna is always there, because Krishna never forgets the Jiva's connection with him. So that's why he is always accompanying, just waiting eagerly when we will turn back towards Lord. So with respect to demigods, how sometimes it is saying the devotees who are newcomers or who just started practicing Krishna consciousness, how to deal with this situation, because we have been worshipping demigods in our parents also, but one who just started practicing Krishna consciousness, so how should a person deal with, because he may start, sometimes we make mistake of disturbing our parents or relatives by our neophyte behavior. Sometimes I also did this. I have removed after I started practicing the initial years. I have removed photos of demigods in my puja room and kept only Krishna. My parents became very upset because they didn't know what I was practicing. So that made them little take back or got negative impression about ISKCON. So we don't know how to deal with this. That is not much important as removing the pictures. We can worship separately, but in the altar, if it is there, we can go there also, respect demigods also, but we have to change our according to the time, place, circumstances. We have to, the thing is that we have to see the demigods. That's why in Bhagavata it is mentioned that we have to respect demigods according to their connection, their relationship with Krishna. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning later. The important demigods like Lord Shiva, Brahma, and even the incarnations and the expressions of Lord Krishna, like Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, all their Vishnu Tattvas as well as Shakti Tattvas like Durga Devi are worshipped by the process of worshipping Supreme Lord Govinda with the words Govinda Madhi Purusham. So if you see in the Brahma Samhita text 44 onwards, says सृष्टि स्थिति प्रलय साधन शक्ति एक चाये वयस्य भुवनानि विभक्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपम अव्यस्य चचेशते सा गोविंदमादि पुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So here it's talking about Durga. So what potency she has is Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. She can create, she can maintain, she can destroy. So that much. So in that relationship with Supreme Lord, that how they are engaged in Lord service. So in that way, we can worship them. Prabhupada also said that devotees, if you are by chance, if you are going, visiting or seeing a temple of demigods, we should offer our respect, pay obeisances. We become fanatical that we think that we are greater than demigods because we are practicing Suddha Bhakti and they are not. But they have their connection with Krishna and they are serving, giving service to Krishna in other aspects. So we have to give that due respect to the demigods. We can offer our respects, pay obeisances. But what is our mood in approaching them? Just like gopis, the Vrajavasis who have approached Lord Shiva and Katyayani or Ambika, they have worshipped the demigods. Purpose is to achieve Krishna. So if we also have just like in our home or if you visit any temple, so we can pray to the demigod so that praying that we become devotees of Krishna. And if we are sincere, they will bless us also. Like any of our Vaishnavas, bless us to become devotees of Krishna. So they also can bless us to become good devotees. So that way we can pray to demigods. And one more aspect is that sometimes devotees have a difficulty what to do, confusion. If we go to some temple, they give prasadam. Demigods temple. So how do we handle that situation? Can somebody say how to handle that situation? Devotees, we should not take demigod prasadam, right?
Why, Prabhu? We can take, no, Prabhu. They are also part of Krishna.
Yes. Yeah. So
Prabhu, we can accept it and we can give it to others who are not devotees.
devotees.
Yeah, devotees can accept the prasadam,
Yes.
demigods prasadam. If they are not taking, but with respect, they can take it and they can give it to somebody else.
So the problem is that sometimes the offering is done considering that they are the supreme. So that is not. If we accept that, then that is not appropriate. That's what scripture says. What we can do is that we don't have to disturb there, but we can accept in such a situation, and then we can give to the person who are not, practicing any culture. Means he may be like, if you go out, there may be people who are not practicing devotional service. He may be a demigod worshipper, or even he is not worshipping. People who will anyway take the food which is not offered, or so such people we can give. And if that is offered first, that like in Jagannath Puri, sorry, in Bhubaneswar, the food is offered, or in Jagannath Puri, the prasadam is offered to Lord Shiva and the Durga, Durga in the sense Parvati. So that
Vimala,
we can accept, because that
Vimala Devi.
Mahaprasad is being offered to Vaishnavas, considering that they are the devotees, great Vaishnavas, and Mahaprasad is offered to them, that we can accept, because that is we are accepting as Maha of Vaishnava. That is considered. But if that Bhoga is offered to demigods as considering that they are the supreme, then that is not appropriate for Vaishnavas. But honoring them, we can accept it, but we can give it to somebody with respect, not to disturb the faith of the people there. So even in same way, worshipping also, sometimes our parents are not become fully Krishna consciousness, or they still have worshipping demigods. So they may take their own time, but they have some puja, we go, and we also pray. They also doing, so we pray. Of course, mentally we pray that Krishna, and then we pray to demigods also, that make me devotee of Krishna and remove difficulties in my way to Krishna consciousness. So they will help us. So that way we can respectfully deal. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. And they're all servants of the Supreme Lord. That we should remember. Others, that what the last line Prabhupada says. Ekaleshwar Krishna Arasabhabhritya, the Supreme Master is Krishna, and all others are his servants. So with this, I will pause here. So we have initially we discussed about importance of training children from the young age in Krishna consciousness, so that one can cultivate remembrance of Krishna, and that will help at any time of crisis in our life, because crisis can come anytime. So at the time of leaving, we can remember Krishna, which is other means. Chanting is maybe also something difficult if you are some accident or something happens, but we can always remember Krishna. So that we have to cultivate in our adult. We come late, but what we can do is that we can put more effort to maximize our Krishna consciousness, because the time is less, and we have to plan to exit our ashram and go to the next level, graduate to the next ashram, because the goal is cultivate that remembrance of Krishna, maximum time, investing our maximum time in Krishna. And then we saw this, how to deal with the position of demigods, which is mentioned in Brahma Samhita, and also how to respectfully deal with the demigods, means their worship according to time they serve. Hare Krishna. So I'll pause here. So devotees have any comments to make, or we can pause today for today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Especially for me, the takeaway was when you mentioned the statement that how long can we go on in this way? That was a nice reminder, Prabhuji. I would request devotees if they have any questions, comments, thoughts, please share. You can unmute and share.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, when we are active into Krishna conscious movement, actually we don't get time to go to other temples. We are so busy in this. I think earlier I used to go to the other temples. Now most of them only KC and at the most Ganesha. I just go. But they said we can go to the Ganesha temple there. That's what they were telling Prabhu. And as you said, the prasadam part, when I take the prasadam when I go to Ganesha temple, I say that he is a servant of you, and then I just take it. That's what I do, Prabhu. I don't know if it is not right. You can correct me.
And say that the offering I was saying, if you are offering, you are taking prasad of the Lord and you are offering them. That is different. That's what we can do.
Okay.
So yes, I said we may not go, but if you have by chance, if you are going by demigod temple, so we offer our pranams and respects. So I have seen many of our sannyasis also, they pay full respects, full dandavats also, pranam also to the Devatas temple, because we have to respect, because they have their position. So we set also example by that.
But Shiva, when we go to the Shiva temple,
Yes.
is that they say Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho Desavana Prabhu. So we can go.
Yeah, we can go. That's what I'm saying. If you are able to see that connection, and what we are going to do go there. So of course you go and do give respect to Lord Shiva, but the purpose of going to temple is we hear Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam should happen. So otherwise, when we are going yatras and other times are by passing by, if you get, that is different, but we don't particularly plan out and go unless it is where in specific particular dham it is there, some significance it is there. Otherwise, we have enough time to be in Lord Krishna's temple or ISKCON temple.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Prabhuji, one question I had.
Yes.
Between services and reading, if we have to prioritize, what should be the priority?
Difficult question. Between services and reading. So we have to sustain our body. We need to take food. How much food to take? We should know this much food is sufficient for my nourishment or healthy, keeping body healthy. The same way, if our sufficient hearing and chanting or our sadhana, if that is there, if it is set by our guidance with our superiors, our spiritual master or whoever is helping us, this much is needed. If we have done that much, then we can go for the service, because we have to have, if we don't do our Shravanam, Kirtanam, and if you do big services, means more service if you take, that will drain fast our energy, and we will not be able to do that service also with proper consciousness. That's what happened, crisis in ISKCON. People initially, they have expanded so much, but they neglected their sadhana. So both should be there. But what is one's limit individual, that one has to check with one's spiritual master or Shiksha Guru who is helping us. So they know what is, if it is some emergency case, that is different. That we need to see which one, on particular festival day or something, sadhana is there. But that time the priority may change for services, because there is a service for large. But on regular basis, that we have to plan in such a way that we get nourished nicely, and then do that much appropriate service also. Because both are needed. Sufficient engagement also is needed, because otherwise, sufficient, like it is said that one should be haunted by the Vedic sound vibration, and we should be, after that, one should be hunting for service. So if you remember this, haunted by Vedic sound and hunting for the service, then that problem will not be there. So we have to be sufficiently haunted, like ghost haunted. We'll be doing so many things. So if we are haunted by that Vedic sound vibration, then we can do also services nicely. Hectic tasks also we can do. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the clarity.
sorry if I could.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, any other devotees or
Any other devotees would like to ask any questions?
Sri Balaji Prabhu is doing wonderful Shavanam Kirtanam, and also he is doing wonderful services. He is just asking to test me.
No, no,
To
Prabhuji.
contemplate whether I am doing or not.
No.
Thank you.
We will not show our weaknesses, Prabhuji. That is the problem.
Thank you.
Okay, Prabhuji. I think there are no further. We will end with Vaishnava Pranas, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Once-
कृपासिन्धुभ्येव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Vaishnava Thakur Shri
Yeah.
Prabhu. Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, devotees. I will end the session for all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.